Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I currently have COVID. Sorry to anybody that doesn't really want to hear about COVID and anything like that, but my company enforces leave still whilst you're testing positive for COVID, and I have tested positive. If I test negative on days 6 and 7, then I can return to work. But at the moment, I'm still off. I haven't tested myself since I tested positive because I've run out of tests and I'm waiting on tests to arrive. Hopefully they should arrive today or tomorrow, just in time for my day 6 test. So I've got no clue whether I'm likely to still test positive. I'm still a bit bunged up. I'm still coughing a little bit. So I don't know. I've got no kind of like concept. But this is the first time that my partner, my fiance, has caught COVID. This is my third time of testing positive. Bonkers. And this is the first time that he's also tested positive alongside me. And I reckon he probably had it before I did. So for anyone that's got sort of hay fevery type symptoms, if you're seriously concerned about like spreading and stuff, which we should still be, but that's my own opinion, please, if you've got tests and you've got the facility to test, please test, or be mindful of where you're going, wearing a face mask and reducing your contact with people, because my fiance had what he just assumed was hay fever, and then lo and behold, a day later he tested positive for COVID. So just be mindful of that. It might not be linked, but yeah, just a little thing for you there. I am starting today a buddy read of The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and I have been dying to read this book for absolutely ages. Daisy very kindly picked me this book up in her local Asda, and I'm trying to think of when that was and how long I've had it on my shelf for. But we knew that we had this theme coming up this month in July for weddings, and we knew it was coming up, and so I kept putting this off, kept putting this off, because I knew that this would fit the wedding prompt really, really well. Anyway, cut long story short, it's now July and we are starting a buddy read this week for it. I have kind of like paced out sort of 7 sections so we can read it across the whole week and be done by Sunday, and I am so excited to get started. And because I am so excited to read this book, I thought I would do a spoiler filled kind of like reading vlog of my time reading it. Obviously, I don't know if I'm going to be going back to work on Thursday, so it will change things up a little bit. But for Monday through to Thursday morning, I will definitely be off. So the first 3 sections for sure, I will be reading. By Wednesday, I should know whether I've tested positive or negative, and then I might even get a little bit ahead on the buddy read, so that I know that I will be able to do it even when I'm back at work, if that makes sense. So I'm really looking forward to this. Spanish Love Deception is about a wedding in Spain, the most infuriating man, 3 days to convince your family you're actually in love. Catalina Martin desperately needs a date to her sister's wedding, especially when her little white lie about her American boyfriend has spiraled out of control. Now everyone she knows, including her ex-boyfriend and his fiance, will be there. She has only 4 weeks to find someone willing to cross the Atlantic for her and aid in her deception. New York City to Spain is no short flight, and her family won't be easy to fool. But even then, when Aaron Blackford, the 6'4", blue-eyed pain in the arse, offers to step in, she's not tempted even for a second. Never has there been a more aggravating, blood-boiling and insufferable man. But Catalina is desperate, and as the wedding gets closer, the more desirable an option Aaron Blackford becomes. It says it's an enemies to lovers, fake dating romance, perfect for those looking for a steamy slow burn with the promise of a sweet happy ever after. I love fake dating. There's something that I like about enemies to lovers as well. I am so excited to read this book. Can you tell? Can you tell? I have been dying to read this for ages, ever since Daisy gifted it to me. So Daisy's also joining in with the buddy read, and we have Gemma and Hannah as well also joining us, but there might even be a couple more people that might join in, potentially, like in the next couple of days. Someone might say, oh, I've got this, I want to join in, so we might even have some more takers, who knows. But it is just gone 8:30 in the morning. My body clock is still waking me up early. Also, probably some of the worst time to have COVID is when it's really warm, because I'm already kind of aggravated. I've got like a chesty cough, sort of like bunged up and snotty, and then it's really hot on top of that, so I'm not sleeping great. I'm not really getting to sleep in because of the heat, and I'm not sleeping well through the night because of the heat as well. So I'm not complaining, but I'm up at eight. Well, I was up at like 7:30, I think, which is still quite early for somebody that doesn't need to get up. But yes, I am. Hopefully, it'll be a good day, and hopefully it'll be a good week. And I've got this to keep me company now. Prior to this, so I tested positive on Thursday. I have actually taken part in another reading challenge, which was to try and reach 24 hours across 4 days. I didn't quite achieve 24 hours, but the challenge was supposed to read for 24 hours across the week. And I think if I'd accounted for all of my reading time across the whole week, I think I would have done 24 hours, because I finished on 20 hours and 40 minutes or something. And I reckon I would have made that up with the reading I'd done before in the week, but I hadn't timed it because I hadn't joined in the challenge, knowing that I thought it was very unlikely with being at work and stuff. And then my positive test happened, and I didn't go to work, so I was like, well, I've got not a lot else to do, let's do some reading. So yeah, I thought it'd just be fun to do a reading vlog of this book, because yeah, I'm so excited for it. It better live up to the hype now. It better live up to the hype. Anyway, I'm gonna go and get myself sorted, get myself some breakfast, and start today's section of the Spanish Love Deception. And also got to decide what I'm going to pick up alongside this, because at the minute I'm reading like nearly a book a day whilst I'm off. So after I've read today's, what section is today's, 72 pages, which I'm going to read like probably in over an hour, just over an hour. I'm going to have a lot of spare time once I'm done with today's section. So I'm going to definitely have to pick up something else to read alongside this. Otherwise I'll just race ahead and finish it all and then ruin the buddy read. So I'll keep you posted once I've started and read a bit of this. So excuse the way I look. I look atrocious. It is so hot in the UK at the moment. I'm not gonna moan because I'm not, but it's so hot, and then with having COVID on top of that, this is what I look like. You should just be grateful that I've even got a bra on right now. So I have just finished my daily pages for the Spanish Love Deception, and I thought I'd come on and tell you a little bit about my thoughts so far. I think I previously mentioned this, but this will be a spoiler filled reading vlog. So if you don't want to be spoiled for this book, then please don't carry on watching. So today's section was 72 pages, which was the first 4 chapters. So I'm now up to chapter 5, and I am putting it down, and obviously I will come back to it tomorrow and I'll let you know what my thoughts are tomorrow. So far I'm enjoying it and I'm intrigued. I feel like so far I haven't got enough to be fully like, oh my gosh, about it. I feel like I need a little bit more of a grip than I've got so far, which is a little bit disappointing at 72 pages, but I am super intrigued. I do feel like Lena, who is the main female character, I think she is very harsh and very stubborn towards Aaron, who is the potential love interest. And I think she's quite a big character, quite a strong-willed character, and I think actually Aaron's maybe a little bit misunderstood and maybe a little bit kind of like, yeah, from what I've read so far. At the moment Lena has just been given a work task to host like an open day, which is something that she's never done before. It's not in her remit, it's not part of her job. She's expected to do it, and she's expected to do it because out of the group of management she's the only female, and it's like kind of put onto her as in quite a sexist way that, oh, she'll know what to do, and because she's a fun, bright, smiley female, it just automatically goes to her to organise it all. And her and Aaron are kind of coming together, albeit on Lena's part quite begrudgingly, are coming together to organise it together because he's done this before in a previous role. And I'm intrigued about, this is obviously something that's happened in Lena's past, which has kind of made her quite closed off. She's not been in a relationship for 6 years. Lena is going back to Spain for her sister's wedding, and the groom's best man is Lena's ex, and she found out, which I think the family were kind of keeping from her, that he is actually now engaged to marry someone else, and it seems like something's happened in the relationship that broke their relationship down 6 years ago, and she hasn't had a relationship since. So we're not quite sure what has happened. It seems to have quite scarred her, and it's what caused her to flee Spain and move to America in the first place. So I'm quite intrigued to kind of know a little bit more about that and see what's caused that. But so far I'm enjoying it. So far I feel like we don't know an awful lot about the characters. Like I say, we're very much focused on the time that we spent with the characters has been them at work. We've not really experienced the characters in their own lives. We don't know an awful lot about the kind of background of them yet. So I'm looking forward to that. And I can't wait for tomorrow's section when I can give you a little bit more juicy details. Tomorrow we are reading it to page 123, so we're reading up to chapter 8. So we've got 5, 6 and 7, so we've only got 3 chapters tomorrow, but they're obviously similar page length to this first section. The sections do differ slightly because we're kind of like rounding up or down to chapters depending on what's most what works best. So yeah, first day has gone well, and I can't wait to check in with you tomorrow and let you know what my thoughts are on Tuesday section. But yeah, so far so good. So apologies for the angle here. I don't think I filmed in my bedroom before, and I'm sorry for the way I look. I just realised it's just coming up to 9 o'clock and I haven't done my update yet for my pages for the Spanish Love Deception for today. So I thought I would do a quick update on that. Also, can we talk about the fact that I have managed to crease, I don't know if you can see the front cover, it was falling off me. I sat on the sofa this morning reading it, and rather than just letting it fall to the ground, and it probably would have been fine, I grabbed it. I went to grab it and I have creased. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think you can see that, but I have definitely creased it here. Devastated because I love keeping my books pristine even once I've read them. So what has happened in this so far? Today's section, I definitely feel, I think I mentioned yesterday that I wasn't completely gripped, and now I really am. There were several points during the day today where I was like, oh, I want to pick this up and read more. I was like, no, I can't, I've already read my pages for today, can't get ahead. I definitely feel like Aaron's character is really kind of showing his true colours now, and I think we're seeing a little bit more of his real side, or maybe that Lena is kind of seeing more of his real side. I love his kind of persistence of, you know, let me be the date to the wedding, let me help you. I really can kind of get a vibe from him that he actually really quite cares for Lena, and the fact that all he wants in return is basically a date for her to accompany him to a charity event. And I thought that whole kind of like scene with him kind of turning up to her apartment and her kind of going like, I don't know what to wear, I don't know what I'm going to, so I don't know what to wear. I just thought that was really, really lovely. And Lena really likes him, but I can tell that she's scared. Like, Lena really likes him, and she's kind of like having these moments of realization, like, oh my gosh, I actually really like this guy. And I think she's coming to the conclusion that, like, what does this mean? I think she's scared. I do think she's scared, and I think she's worried about having her heart broken again, potentially. And I really can't wait to see where we've left it off. So we've read up to page 124, 123 really. We've left it off, we're just beginning chapter 8. So we're literally, they've just pulled up at the end of the last chapter, chapter 7, they've literally just pulled up to the charity event. So I'm really intrigued to see how that event plays out and what happens there. And I think Aaron's a real cutie. Like, I think he's, like I said in yesterday's update, I think he's a bit misunderstood by Lena, and I think she's a bit harsh and holding a grudge against him, but I definitely feel like she's starting to defrost a little bit, and I feel like I feel like we're finally getting somewhere, and she's like this acceptance now that she is going to have Aaron, like saying to her mum, that was like one of the first names when she was like, when her mum was like, well, who are you bringing then? And she was like, Aaron. And it was just like, she obviously wants it. She obviously wants it. And he is on her mind. Anyway, really been enjoying it. And like I said, I'm really gripped now. Like I said, the first section, yesterday's section, I wasn't completely gripped, but I am now. I can't wait to read tomorrow's section and see what happens. And I think we'll be like almost halfway through the book then, so really looking forward to that. Non-book related, but I am still testing positive for COVID, unfortunately, albeit a much fainter line than I was when I first tested positive. My other half is going to be going back to work tomorrow because he's tested negative today and he's allowed to go back even though I'm still testing positive. So he's going to go back to work tomorrow, which is going to be really odd because we've just spent like 6 days in the house together, like close proximity, 24/7, which is not normal for us. We go out, we work, we have busy lives. So I'm going to miss him tomorrow, but I'm going to have my pages and I'm going to have Aaron Blackford to keep me a little bit more company. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's pages, and also wonder whether I'm going to test positive again tomorrow, because tomorrow's my day 6, which is it, providing I have a negative test on day 6 and 7, I can go back to work. But if I test positive tomorrow, which I think is quite likely, I tested positive today, then I won't be able to go back to work on Thursday. I don't know. Anyway, enough COVID chat. So I'll catch you all tomorrow with my thoughts. So it is now Wednesday. Quickly, before I do the thing that we're actually here for, which is telling you about my thoughts on today's section of the Spanish Love Deception, from chapter 8 through to the end of chapter 11. I thought I'd give you a COVID update. I have tested positive again for COVID this morning. It is an extremely faint test. I'll see if I can show you a picture from my phone because that's where I took the photo. It's extremely faint. I don't know if you can see that. That was probably a really attractive face from me. And I've written at the bottom of every single one, like, SOP for Sophie and my other half JJ on his, so that we've got so many COVID tests lying around, it's hard to keep track, and I've also been dating them. But unfortunately I have had a very faint positive this morning, so that means I won't be able to return to work tomorrow, but I don't know how I'm going to test tomorrow. So fingers crossed I get negative tomorrow, and then providing I get negative tomorrow, I can actually go to work on Friday, providing I have 2 days, 2 consecutive 24 hours apart negative tests, I can return to work. So fingers crossed I get a negative tomorrow. I don't quite know whether I will or not at this point, but I thought I would give you a COVID update first because it's all part of this vlog, isn't it? It's all part and parcel of what's going on in my week. But I thought I would do my section. I was going to do this, I read this quite early on this morning. I think I was done by sort of about maybe 11 o'clock-ish, 11:30. I did drag my feet a little bit with getting to it because I knew that once I was done with this, I was going to have to pick up Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard, which is the final book in the Red Queen series. And if you've been watching some of my other videos, you'll know that I haven't been enjoying that series. And I knew that once I'd finished my section in this, it was like all guns blazing trying to finish Warstorm. So I kind of dragged my heels a little bit with reading this because I was like, the longer I draw it out, the less time, the longer it'll be until I have to actually pick up Warstorm, which you're not enjoying a book when that is your mentality. But anyway, I've got too far through it now and I'm too invested to not finish it. I'm about 85% of the way through now, I think my Kindle says. What does my Kindle say? my Kindle says I'm 84% of the way through. So I literally have about 100 pages left. My audiobook says I've got about an hour and 45 minutes. So once I've done this clip and told you about this book, which is what we're all here for, I will headphones back in and I'll listen to it and I'll just try and finish it. I might do half an hour sprints and then do something else and do a half hour sprint and maybe just get it done that way. But anyway, so through from chapters 8 through to the end of chapter 11, I feel like we had so much go on in this section today. We had the kind of charity event where they were going to at the end of yesterday's section, but we actually had the charity event chapter in today's section. So we had everything that went on with that. We had the kind of like auction and the bidding. We then had a dance moment to then kind of flip through to having like this moment where they have kind of like obviously a jarring moment. We then have that Aaron is actually being promoted and will you know, be Lena's supervisor. So we've kind of got that, and I kind of feel from what Lena said when that kind of was announced that something's happened with her previously with her ex, where maybe they were working together, maybe whether he was her manager or supervisor or something, or had sort of like a supervisory role over her, and that's maybe the issue that she's got with them, that they broke down but they were working together as well. I don't know. Anyway, and then we had like this other section where she faints and he comes to her rescue. We had like several tropes kind of play out in this section, which was kind of like kept me on my toes, and it was really exciting and interesting. I think we've learned a lot about Aaron's character in this. I think we've learned a lot about, maybe not necessarily lots about him, but we've learned you know, a bit more about what he is like, and I think 100% it's absolutely like obvious that he has feelings for Lena. He's kind of said a couple of things like he's not backing down and things like that, and he's obviously got feelings for her, and he is gung-ho, I think, for trying to get her and trying to like win her over. And I feel like we're kind of starting to, in this section, really kind of like dig away, chip away at Lena's kind of hard exterior and kind of like her resistance towards Aaron. I feel like it was really a little bit tropey and a little bit sort of like quite an obvious decision to put her in a situation where she needed to be looked after by him, but I think it worked really well, and I really enjoyed this section. I am so intrigued to read tomorrow's pages. We're getting really close now to them actually travelling to Spain for the wedding. We had this kind of section where Aaron actually had a phone call with Lena's sister while she was kind of asleep after having had her fainting sort of episode, and that was kind of like, he's kind of like nestling his way in, and I'm kind of like, I'm here for it. He is definitely a softie. I definitely think he's got something going on as well, and I think he's kind of there's more to him that we haven't learned yet, but I feel like his feelings are a lot more like, I think even though he's being a little bit guarded, I think his feelings are a lot more kind of heart on his sleeve, maybe more so than Lena. And I really do feel like she's had this kind of almost like epiphany moment when he walked in after the auction, after the charity event they went to, and he was just in his like plain slacks and plain button down, and she was like, it must just be the memories of him in a tux. And it's like, no, you fancy the pants off of him, just admit it. I'm not sure at what point Lena's going to do my head in, because she's not doing my head in just yet. In this section I was kind of like, God, give the guy a break, come on, he's obviously into you, come on. But I kind of wonder at what point she's going to really get on my nerves, and I feel like giving her a slap and like slapping some sense into her. Hasn't happened just yet, but I'm hoping that doesn't become too elongated, her kind of like reluctance to kind of give in to him, and her reluctance to kind of like give in to her feelings. I hope that doesn't stick around for too long,
But at the end of today's section, we are, I think Goodreads reckons I am 43% of the way through. So when we finish tomorrow's section, we will be over halfway through the book. So I kind of feel like the pacing's good and it's keeping me engaged, and I'm intrigued to see how we're going. But I'm intrigued to see how much of the rest of the book actually is taken up by the wedding, and how much of that, like how that will all kind of come to play. The only thing I will say is that the last couple of books I have read, apart from Warstorm, but I've read a couple of other wedding themed books for the July book club theme. The chapters in this feel a lot longer than the chapters in those books. So I feel like even though I feel like it's got a good pace, I am kind of noticing the longer chapters in this, but I'm noticing them. It's not like it's becoming a problem, if that makes sense. But still really enjoying it. Loving Aaron and loving him as he kind of like as his character kind of like develops, and I'm liking that we're seeing a bit more of Lena's kind of vulnerabilities as well, and kind of getting a little bit more information on that. But yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow's section. And I put my bookmark in at the beginning of tomorrow's section, and I was like, I started reading the first line, I was like, no, Sophie, stop, because if you start, you won't stop. And I've been really good so far with not going ahead, not racing ahead. And I don't know if I might strategically go ahead tomorrow if I test negative, because obviously if I test negative tomorrow and negative Friday morning, I can go to work on Friday. So that will kind of not hinder my reading, but it will affect my reading a little bit more. So, and I know I've got stuff going on over the weekend, so I don't know, I might be a little bit sort of sleuthy, and I might read more strategically, knowing that if that does happen tomorrow morning. But we'll wait and see. I might read both Thursdays and Friday section tomorrow, especially if I'm done with Warstorm, and then on Saturday I can read Saturdays and Sundays potentially, because I know that oh no, I won't be as free on Saturday, will I? Anyway, I just might be a little bit more strategic with it. I might go a day ahead just to kind of keep up with the general daily pages, if that makes sense. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll see what my COVID test comes back as in the morning, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, so I am going to get cracking on. I've been doing some sort of wedding prep. We're getting married in July of next year. So if I haven't mentioned that already. Anyway, so I made a couple of purchases. I've made a couple of phone calls. I've made contact with the lady that might do the cake. So I feel like I'm ticking some things off. I'm also writing a list for the wedding venue. So we're going to be the venue dressed for a wedding in a couple of weeks time, couple of weekends time. So it'll be good to have some questions, but I will probably email the lady, my contact at the wedding venue, before then, because I might just and say, look, I appreciate you probably won't have time to discuss this on the day that we come and view the venue, because it is someone's wedding day, but I have a few questions. Can we talk through them? Can we maybe organise a phone meeting day or something, and have a phone appointment or something? Because I've got a few questions which might get answered in the appointment that we've got to view the venue dress for a wedding, but they might not. So that's what's going on for me today. I've ordered something new on the Amazon Prime Day deal. So I ordered some books, but I also ordered a new stand for my monitor to go on. I'm sat at my desk at the moment for my computer monitor to go on, which then will mean that my my keyboard will slide underneath it nicely and then be out of the way, because at the moment I have a bit of a space issue. So yeah, anyway. So I will probably film that when that arrives tomorrow, because I will definitely be off tomorrow from work. It's just whether I'm off on Friday or not, I don't know yet. So that was my update for today. Very long update. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this vlog isn't a complete pain in the arse to edit. And I can't wait to read tomorrow's section. And like I say, potentially strategically read depending on my COVID result in the morning. I am feeling quite a bit better today, and I feel like this is the first day that I've really felt like, right, let's get on with some stuff, let's be productive. So I kind of feel like I'm ready to go back to work. It's just whether COVID test results allow me to, but hey ho. Anyway, I'm going to get cracking with reading some more of Warstorm and getting my way through that god-awful book, and then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll let you know my thoughts on this But I'm loving it so far. I am loving it so far, really enjoying it, and enjoying reading it with some people, and like in the group chat, kind of having a chat about what's gone on and our thoughts on it so far, because that's been really good too. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now and get on with the rest of my afternoon. It is now Thursday. I have completely lost all concept of the days of the week this week. Apologies for the disgusting angle, but we're just working with it today. I thought I'd come on and do my update for today's section of the Spanish Love Deception. So I read from page 200 through to page 269, which gets us to the end of chapter 16. I am thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm liking now, in this section we've got to Spain. The characters Lena and Aaron have got to Spain for Lena's sister's wedding, and we're now kind of seeing the antics kind of play out. I love that Aaron upgraded Lena to a first class seat. Like, love that. Love that. And kind of like that whole banter that they had on the aeroplane, trying to learn Lena's family's names and everything. And I love before they flew, the little kind of like, they had this little moment in a coffee shop, when Lena ended up choosing one of everything because Aaron made a point of wanting to pay. He's such a gentleman, he's such a gent, and it's been really lovely seeing them, like I say, kind of actually now, you know, because we were like halfway through the book, now actually seeing them play out this fake Spanish love deception, as she's calling it, and kind of actually showcasing their relationship to people. It's kind of like adding a new dimension to the story. I'm really enjoying it. We have also seen Lena's ex, Daniel. So the whole reason why she's taken, I think I probably mentioned this in a previous section, but the whole reason why she wanted to take somebody with her to the wedding, a date to the wedding, was because her ex was there. Her only relationship she's ever had was going to be there as the best man, because he's the brother of the guy that her sister's marrying. But she also found out that he was engaged, so she wanted to take somebody with her, basically to not be on her own and not to be alone. But we find out a little bit more about him and their past, and I don't think they actually worked together anymore. From what we've heard, he was her professor, and he was her professor for a year before they even started a relationship. But it sounds like maybe things were thrown around and accusations were made at the end of their relationship that maybe weren't completely true, and I feel like maybe he's labelled Lena in a certain way. We still don't know all of the details, but it kind of leads me to think that, you know, maybe that wasn't dealt with in the best way by him, and he's protected himself and he's not protected Lena in that. I tested negative this morning for COVID, so I will be going back to work tomorrow, provided I have a negative test again tomorrow, which I should do. So I am tempted to read tomorrow's section just to get myself ahead, because I can imagine tomorrow is going to be an extremely busy day at work. And yeah, so I think I will potentially later on read tomorrow's section as well. I do have some bits I've got to do around the house, and whatnot, so I need to get on with some other bits as well. But yeah, I think I will come back to this later on and read. I'm just enjoying it so much as well, I kind of want to read more. And there's a chapter that I've kind of had, I've watched Books with Chloe, who loves this book, and she reread it recently in a reading vlog, and there's a specific chapter that she kind of like she said she needed emotional support for, and I think that's coming up in the next section, so I'm kind of like, I want to read it. So I'm being a little bit naughty, but alas, I kind of think it will help me tomorrow, knowing that I don't have like 70 odd pages that I need to get read, and I can just read them potentially, or read a portion of it at least today. But I'm just loving them kind of like being close and like faking it. I'm loving seeing that now played out, and I'm really enjoying this book, really enjoying it. I had kind of like decided not to pre-order Elena Armis's next book because I hadn't read this one yet, and I was like, no, I'm trying to be really good with doing that. In the past I've done so many times, I've like ordered something,
ordered a book when I haven't even read any of the other authors' work, and think, oh yeah, I'll order that as well, and then I read one and I don't actually massively enjoy it. So I'm trying to get better at only ordering stuff that I've either heard really good reviews for, or I have read something else by the author. I'm trying to be better at that, so I definitely think I'm gonna pre-order that now as well. The Roommate Experiment, I think it's called. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I can't wait to see how this goes. And we've got 3 sections left. So like I say, if I read another section today, or at least make progress, we've not got a lot left of the book. How many pages are there in the book? 468. So we do have 200 pages left, which is exciting. So yeah, I'm going to crack on with some of my chores, preparation for going back to work tomorrow, get some things sorted, and then I'll check in with you if I do read any more today. Even if it's not a full section, I'll still come in and check in with you and let you know what my thoughts are, but still really enjoying this. And Aaron has just taken his top off to play soccer. Perfection. Perfection. Anyway, I'm going to get cracking with my chores, and I'll see you guys later. So it is quite a bit later now. It is 6:30 in the evening, and I thought I'd come on and update you because I have just finished the next section of the Spanish Love Deception. As I mentioned earlier, I've read ahead an extra section because I know tomorrow is going to be a busy day for me, and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get the opportunity to read much tomorrow at all. And I know I've got a bit of a busy weekend as well, so I'm just trying to like get ahead of the game now. That last section, also excuse my duvet piled up there, it's just because it's too hot at the moment to have a duvet on. I've just rolled it all to the end of the bed, so excuse that. That last section though was so adorable, so cute. It was lovely to get to hear, albeit sad, to hear about Aaron's past. We had a section where Aaron told Lena about his past and how he trained to be, an American footballer, and his dad was his coach, but losing his mum. Didn't kind of go into too much detail there, but we kind of know enough to know that his dad was his coach and kind of put his whole life kind of goal into his son, trying to train him up. Because you can kind of understand what sort of pressure that put him under. And we've also had a bit of a steamy scene, which was really quite like, ooh. And Aaron's basically turned around and said, I'm not going to kiss you, not until you know that this is for real, like this is not fake, this is real, what we have. And literally the last line I've just read was about Lena saying that this kind of like brick had kind of like kind of slotted into place in her, what did she say? That I felt the brick click into place, inserting itself like a Tetris piece in a nook that had been waiting to be filled. And by the time he returned his arm to my waist and my body to his lap, just after he looked down and smiled that smile just for me, I knew with certainty that I'd never be able to get that damn brick out of there. It was there to stay. I've loved in this last section, this kind of like, it was really fun because they were on the kind of bachelor party, kind of like joint party for her sister, and it was really fun to see kind of Lena get drunk, kind of have this sort of like inner monologue of, no, this isn't real, like, oh, no, you've got to remember, like you can kind of tell that she was drunk and she wasn't quite in control of herself like she normally would be. And yeah, then they came back to where they're staying and they had a very steamy session, and Lena was very up for it, but then Aaron stopped and was like, no, I won't kiss you, I won't do anything until you know that this is real, this is not fake. As you can tell, thoroughly enjoying this, and I'm knowing that I'm going to be busy Saturday as well. I am tempted to, if I can this evening, actually make some progress through Saturday's pages. I know I'm really kind of getting ahead of the game a little bit and it's really naughty, I'm supposed to be buddy reading it, but I'm enjoying it so much. And how many pages do I have left? So I've got about 130 pages left, so not really much left at all. And yeah, I'm kind of tempted to maybe make progress with Saturday's section
this evening, if I get the opportunity, I need to think about putting dinner on now really, and kind of getting on with some prep for back to work. Tomorrow I do need to iron my work uniform, and need to iron my other half a shirt and everything like that. So I might put this to one side, but I might also start reading some more because I just can't put it down. I want to know how the next 130 pages are going to play out, and really, really enjoying this. And I have to say, I was a little bit worried this wasn't going to live up to the hype, because I've had this on my radar and had this on my shelf for ages, and I've put off reading it and put off reading it, knowing that we were doing the wedding theme, and like, no, this fits the wedding theme perfectly, no, I'm not going to read it. And I'm so glad I have now finally read this. Well, I haven't finished it yet, but I'm so glad I'm finally reading it, and I'm so glad it's kind of living up to that hype, and I'm enjoying every minute of it, and it not be like, oh, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Like, I'm really enjoying it. I'm here for it. And like I said earlier, I'm definitely going to pre-order her next book, because I need that in my life as soon as it comes out. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling on now. I'm going to go and be a little bit productive. And you'll see me next time I've got something to update you on. I don't know if it'll be again today, it might be tomorrow, but I'll update you when I've made some more progress through the book. Good morning. So it is now Saturday morning. I did read Saturday's section yesterday on Friday. Sorry, this is getting a bit confusing. I finished it last night, and it was so late that I wasn't gonna do an update on it. So I read from page 336 at the beginning of chapter 21 through to page 400, which is the end of 23. It was just, there was a bit of a naughty scene that we've just read. The last chapter that we just read was a slutty scene. I think just everything about the wedding was really lovely, and we have now had Lena's, like, kind of, she's admitted, or she's kind of like, is admitted the right word? She's decided now, sorry for the sun, it's a bit weird, this admittance from her that this relationship, this connection that they've got is real, it's not fake. She's kind of been toying for the last few sections about, is this real, is this just for show, or is this actually, like, is this real? And she's kind of had this admittance now and this understanding, both of them together, that this is real, and that they have a real connection. And what I am concerned about is that normally in a romance novel, you'll have like a problem, something problematic, which by the end of the book normally gets resolved. Often it's miscommunication, or, you know, something else just happens, and something comes to light, or something that maybe a character's maybe been hiding comes to light, and the characters kind of part. I'm hoping that in the final 60, however many pages, 68 pages, that we don't have an issue, because we don't have long for it to be resolved. We've literally got 68 pages. So I'm hoping that everything's just kind of plain sailing from here. We've had our high quite, I'd say, quite late on in the book. You know, we've only just had an intimate moment between them. So I'm hoping that we don't have any issues, and it's just plain sailing now. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. So it's just coming up to 8 o'clock in the morning. I've just got my other half up and out for work, and I am going to sit and read a day early the final section of this book. I feel really naughty because I'm ahead, but I don't want to not know how this ends. And I've got a really busy day today, and probably going to end up having a busy day tomorrow. So I kind of think just sitting down now for an hour and a bit and reading the last section of this will actually be really nice. So yeah, I've just really, really enjoyed this book. I've really enjoyed the
the characters' relationship and seeing that kind of change, and not necessarily change, but just kind of adapt as we've gone through the book. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. And Aaron is just, he's just like Dream Man, isn't he? But yeah, looking forward to finishing this and wrapping up all my thoughts and feelings at the end. And I can't wait to read her next book. I can't wait. If it's anything like this, it's going to be amazing. And I am, like I said, I think in one of my last updates, I am really glad that I'm enjoying it, because there's always this worry that things aren't going to live up to the hype when it's been so hyped. And I've put this book, like I mentioned the other day, put this book off for so long. So I'm so pleased that I have enjoyed it as much as I have, because it could have gone dire and it could have not been as good, and I could have been like, oh, it's not lived up to the hype, but it has. I just hope the ending keeps it up there. I'm gonna go read it now. So it is now Sunday. I can confirm that I was really naughty and I actually finished The Spanish Love Deception yesterday, Saturday morning. I had so little left, and where the last section left off, I just couldn't leave it. So I was really naughty Saturday morning, and I did finish it before heading out for the day. And I thoroughly enjoyed this book. In my last update, I mentioned that I was worried about you know, how little we had left, and feeling like in the normal structure of a romance novel we tend to get like an issue arise, and then we kind of get this resolution. And I was thinking, we've really got so little left of the book, this can't seriously happen now, can it, you know, blah blah blah. We had an issue. We had Lena and Aaron come back from Spain, very much loved up, and their first day back at work there was an encounter with a very like not very nice sexist man at their workplace, who one of his workers saw them the day that they got back at a food van getting fish tacos, and he obviously reported back to his boss when he got back to work, who happens to be kind of like on an equal level to Lena and under Aaron in his new role. And it kind of like all blew up. It brought all the past back to Lena. He kind of said a lot of stuff about her basically sleeping her way to get to the top, to get what she needs and to kind of get on the right side of, yeah, it was, she kind of like balked and she was like, no, can't do this, and she kind of turned away from Aaron, and it was over and resolved really quickly, which was a bonus in my opinion, because I was really worried that this wasn't going to end how I wanted it to end. But they reconnected, and also by the end we had this kind of resolution of Aaron reconnecting with his ill father as well, which was really nice. He wasn't at work. Lena didn't really know, but she hadn't seen him. She found out through a HR representative who really shouldn't have divulged the information that they divulged. Told her that he was gone back to his Seattle, gone back home to see his sick father, and that was also kind of quite a nice sort of end to it as well, because at the end we have an epilogue which is 12 months in the future, and what was really nice was that we had Lena and Aaron still together, and they had all her family coming over from Spain, and Aaron's father was still alive. He had kind of like got over his illness, not got over it because he was terminally ill, but you know, he'd kind of like got a bit better, and was also going to be joining in for the kind of like whatever it was for. I reckon it was a it's not like said, but I reckon the whole reason of having her family over from Spain is to propose and her be able to enjoy all of that moment with us. What my thoughts are. But when I finished this, I did actually, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. I did actually read the synopsis for Roommate Experiment, because I was kind of like intrigued to see whether this was sort of like a companion novel or a follow-on, or kind of how it was going to go. And in this book, Lena's kind of best friend character, Rosie, is actually who the second book, The Roommate Experiment, is focused around, and Lena's cousin. So I'm guessing Lena's cousin comes over in this book, like at the end when all her family are coming over. I'm guessing he comes over and then doesn't go home, and there's obviously something going on between
them two. I'm so excited for the next book to come out. I'm going to pre-order it now. I'm sat at my computer and I've got my computer and I think I might pre-order it now actually. Thoroughly enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the dynamic between the characters. I like the fake dating trope. I really enjoy that, reading that trope. And I enjoyed the sort of like the reluctance and the kind of like, I wouldn't say this was like a stark enemies to lovers, because he definitely didn't come across as an enemy right from the beginning for me. He very much came across to me as a reader of he's really actually quite interested in it. It's Lena that's being the difficult one. So I kind of like that sort of dynamic and knowing that someone's being difficult and also that had the potential to be really annoying and frustrating and kind of like you want to kind of give her a kick up the backside, but actually she didn't come across that way to me. That wasn't strung out for too long, I don't think. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. It got me in the feels. It kind of just, it was so readable as well and so enjoyable. I was a little bit worried it was a bit long, but actually I feel like it was well paced, and definitely going to read more of Elena Armis's work. And like I said, I'm going to pre-order The Roommate Experiment by her and read that next. I also really liked the sort of I liked the Spanish sort of like language that was used throughout the book. There was a couple of times though that I did have to Google what it meant. Sometimes when you have some kind of foreign language spoken, some authors quite well kind of feed into the next sort of like sentence without actually just regurgitating and translating. They kind of make you aware of what that was said. There was a couple of times in this where it kind of wasn't done, but there was a few times where it was done, and I did have to Google a couple of things like what are they talking about. I don't have a clue what that meant, and then I figured it out, Googled it and figured it out. But it was interesting that it came up as a suggested search, which makes me think that other people that have read this book have done that as well. But yeah, I liked kind of like having the travel aspect to it as well. And the language, and I just really enjoyed it. Aaron Blackford was an amazing love interest. He was kind of like, well, she said he was like a god, and he was just, I don't know, he just came across as a very lovely, not perfect man, but you know, just a gentleman. He came across as a gentleman to me. Really enjoyed this. Highly recommend it to anyone that enjoys reading romance, and can't wait for the next book. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed kind of having my thoughts throughout and having some spoilers and kind of talking about the plot. The only criticism I would have, which wasn't a massive criticism, was that sometimes the speech marks were the wrong way around. It's like it wasn't quite formatted correctly in every single place. And that did, when it, like once or twice that happening, like you kind of like, you just don't see it. But once you start seeing it quite frequently throughout a book, it got on my nerves a little bit. That's probably the only criticism I could kind of really have. But loved it, highly recommend it, like I say, to any romance, anyone that likes reading romance, because I think you'll fall in love with Aaron Blackford, and can't wait to read more from this author. Really excited to read more from this author. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. The rest of the book group that Buddy read it all enjoyed the book as well, and I think some of them did get a little bit ahead as well towards the end, because at the end of one of the sections it was like, how can we stop there? So yeah, really thoroughly enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this style of vlog, like I said, kind of having my thoughts and my spoiler filled thoughts throughout. Let me know if you enjoyed that or not. If you didn't, please let me know. If you prefer them to be a little bit more generic and just kind of my thoughts, then please let me know if you don't like spoilers. But I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.